Hello students, we are discussing the chapter called Human Health and Diseases. In previous class, we studied a concept called about health, another called as a diseases. In the diseases, we studied the common communicable diseases. Okay, when move on to the next topic called as a immune system and immunity. First, we know that what is meant by immune system. Before going to the immune system is also called as lymphatic system. The immune system or lymphatic system is defined as the system or the lymphatic system that protects the body against infectious agents is called immune system. The study of nature and functions of immune system is called immunology. The father of immunology is Edward Jenner. The immune system consists of four type of organs. One is lymphoid organs, second lymphoid cells, third lymph vessels, fourth lymph. When come to the first one, lymphoid organs. The lymphoid organs again consist two type of organs. One is called primary lymphoid organs, secondary lymphoid organs. The primary lymphoid organs are also called central lymphoid organs. The secondary lymphoid organs are also called peripheral lymphoid organs. When come to the primary lymphoid organs, the organs in which T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes undergo maturation and acquire immune response are called primary lymphoid organs. The primary lymphoid organs consist two organs. One is bone marrow, another called as a thymus. Bone marrow, it is a main lymphoid organ where all blood cells are formed. The B lymphocytes matured and acquire the immune response in bone marrow itself. It means the B lymphocytes are formed, undergo maturation and get the immune responses in bone marrow itself, so that we call B means bone marrow lymphocytes. Then when come to the thymus, it is a bilobed structure present on the inner surface of the sternum. It begins to function in the embryo and continues up to the puberty, after which it degenerates. The thymus by birth it able to form. When the person attains the maturity, then the thymus is able to degenerate. Up to that maturity, the thymus perform actively its function. What does the function means? The thymus able to mature the T lymphocytes. The T lymphocytes are formed in bone marrow but matured in thymus and get the immune responses in thymus itself only. That is the main difference between B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes both are matured in bone marrow, but B lymphocytes and T lymphocyte both are formed in bone marrow, but B lymphocytes matured and get the immune responses in bone marrow itself. The T lymphocytes formed in bone marrow but matured and get the immune responses in thymus itself. Then when come to the secondary lymphoid organs or peripheral lymphoid organs, the organs in which the mature T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes proliferate and differentiate are called secondary lymphoid organs. Proliferate means increases its number. Then the secondary lymphoid organs consist two types. One is the GALT, which means gut associated lymphoid or tissue. Gut associated lymphoid tissue. Second, MALT, MALT, mucosa associated lymphatic tissue. When come to the first one, GALT. The GALT or gut associated lymphatic tissue includes two organs. One is lymph nodes, another called as a spleen. When come to the lymph nodes are bean shaped solid structure present at specific sites along the lymphatic system, which are rich in phagocytes. Then second one, spleen. It is the largest lymphoid organ present in the upper part of abdominal cavity behind the stomach and close to the diaphragm. The spleen plays an important role in the production and destruction of RBC, and also it filters the foreign bodies from the bloodstream. It contains a lymphocytes as well as a phagocytes. Okay, this is about the lymph nodes as well as a spleen. When come to the next called MALT, mucosa associated lymphatic tissue. It consists of first tonsils. It is a collection of lymphatic tissue present around the pharynx region. It mainly composed of B lymphocytes. Then appendix. It is a worm-like structure present ileocecal junction of alimentary canal. This appendix is a rudimentary organ, non-functional organ. It does not perform any function, but if anything causes to this appendix, it leads a appendicitis, a disease. Next one, Peyer's patches. Peyer's patches, these are the aggregation of lymphoid tissue present in the lamina propria of the ileum of small intestine. The small intestine having a specific part called as the lamina propria. In that region, we are going to see this association of tissue, a lymphatic tissue called as a Peyer's patch. So these are the MALT, mucosa associated lymphatic tissue. When come to the third organ of the lymphatic system is lymphoid cells. Lymphoid cells. When come to the lymphoid cells, the two types of lymphoid cells. One is the B lymphocytes, another called the T lymphocytes. We know that T lymphocytes, thymus lymphocytes, B lymphocyte, bone marrow lymphocytes. Both B and T lymphocytes are formed in bone marrow. The B lymphocytes formed, matured, and get the immune responses in bone marrow itself. The thymus lymphocyte, the T lymphocytes formed in bone marrow but matured and get the immune responses in thymus. Then bone marrow. In the human beings, we are called as a bone marrow, but when come to the birds, it is a bursa. Okay, a bursa, a organ present in the birds, that bursa able to produce and matures the B lymphocytes. Then when come to the lymph, it is a colorless fluid derived from the blood and contains the lymphocytes. It flows in lymph vessels. In commonly called as lymph is a colorless blood. One more is there called as a lymph vessels. Lymph vessels. Lymph vessels, a vein-like thin network of vessels through which lymph flows. They have blind-ended capillaries in tissue region. Lymph is a colorless blood. It flows through the blood vessels. Lymphatic vessels. Sometimes lymphatic vessels also called as lacteals. Lacteals. Okay. So this is about the immune system. When come to the immunity, what is meant by immunity? First, the ability of the body to resist the disease causing agents is called immunity. Immunity is also defined as, one more definition, the overall ability of the host, the overall ability of the body to fight with disease causing organism by immune system is called immunity. There are two types of immunity. One is called as a innate immunity, another called as a acquired immunity. Innate immunity is also called a inborn immunity. It means by birth itself it able to develop, it able to form. Second, it is also called first line of defense. That means it is the very first and primarily fight against that disease causing germ. So it is the first line of defense. Then the innate immunity develop immune responses in non-specific way. The immune responses is non-specific. What the innate immunity produce or develop the immune responses, those are non-specific, but such immune responses are very immediate and general, not a specific, it is general. This what the innate immunity develops or produce the immune responses, those responses are very immediately fight to the a disease causing germ, and it is a non-specific, it is not able to specify a bacteria, virus, it able to generally fight all type of pathogens. Then second called as acquired immunity. When come to the first one, innate immunity. Innate immunity. The innate immunity having some barriers. Those are physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers, cytokine barriers. Okay, let us study one by one. First one, physical barriers are also called as surface barriers. The physical or surface barriers consist skin and mucous membrane. Okay, these two are first line of defense barriers. Then when come to the skin, it covers the body and other organs, then separate from the environment where disease causing organisms are present. So it is a first line of body defense. Skin also consists some amount of bacteria. Those bacteria releases acids and some other metabolic waste. Those metabolic waste and acids of bacteria inhibit the growth of pathogen. In this way, the skin acts as a physical or surface barrier. When come to the mucous membrane, the mucous membrane is consists the epithelial layer and connective tissue layer. So this mucous membrane majorly aligns or composed to the digestive tract, respiratory tract, urinary tract and reproductive tract. So in this system, in this region, the mucous membrane secrete the mucus, a sticky substance. That mucus trap the many pathogen. So this mucus is prevent the entry of pathogen inside the body. Then the mucous membrane of the nasal cavity has cilia, that means hairs, which prevents the entry of foreign bodies into the body. When come to the second, physiological barriers, those are lysozyme, earwax, sebum, gastric juices, etc. Lysozyme, the saliva consists majorly the lysozyme, an antibacterial enzyme called the lysozyme. This lysozyme is present in the saliva of the mouth. This lysozyme destroys the bacteria present in the mouth region. Then the tear, the lacrimal gland secrete a liquid called as a tear. In the tear, this lysozyme also present. This lysozyme is wash away the microorganism and keep the eyeball clean. Then earwax, earwax, earwax. The earwax is also called as cerumen, secreted by a ceruminous glands in the ear canal. This cerumen trap a pathogen entry into the ear. Not only trap the pathogen, it also able to trap some dust particles. Next, sebum. Sebum secreted by sebaceous glands of skin. Sebum is a oily liquid. Such sebum able to protect the skin in the outer region. What the sebum is a oily content is there. This oily content trap the dust and other foreign particles. When come to the next, sweat. The sweat gland produces the sweat. Such a sweat able to a very small amount flushes some microbes from the skin. Then gastric juices like HCl, hydrochloric acid. This HCl kills the large amount of bacteria in the stomach region. Okay. This is about the physiological barriers. Next, cellular barriers. That the two types are there, phagocytes and NK cells, natural killer cells. Phagocytes, the cells which engulf and destroy the infected pathogens, are called phagocytes. The phagocyte consists again two types, neutrophils and monocyte. Those are present in the blood, and one more is there, macrophages, which is present in the tissue. Okay, when come to the NK cells, apart from the natural killer cells, there are other cells are there, PMNL neutrophils, which means polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Then macrophages, natural killer cells. These are all present in the blood. These are able to kill the pathogen by phagocytosis. When come to the especially natural killer cells, these are the non-phagocytic lymphocytes specialized to kill the various infected cells and tumor cells. These natural killer cells secrete a chemical called perforins. Such perforins makes the pores in the cell membrane of the target cells. That results in entry of water, thus the cell wall able to burst. Okay. Then when come to the fourth one, cytokine barriers. In that, interferons. Interferons defined as antiviral protein produced by infected virus cells protects other healthy cells from the further viral infections are called interferons. Interferons having a one speciality. It is a interference is the antiviral protein. This antiviral protein produced by virus infected cells. Though, then this interferon able to protect the other healthy cell for the further infection. Those we are called as interferons. Interferons proteins have proved to be effective in treating the diseases like influenza, hepatitis, eye infection, etc. The role of interferons on cancer treatment is under the investigation. So, what the a major disease called as a cancer is there? The cancer able to that it is a non-curable disease nowadays in severe cases, in the severe stages. So the investigation is going on, that how the interferons are able to work on the cancerous cells. Okay, this is about the cytokine balance.